Before the noise of the world, there was a garden. Before fear learned your name, heaven breathed peace into the dust. Echoes of Eden is a cinematic worship journey designed to guide the soul back to sacred stillness, where divine harmony restores what anxiety tried to steal. Every fear became a fortress. Every memory caved within. But then I heard a melody, like light across the sea, a holy sound surrounding the shattered parts of me. Began to finally kneel, like rivers washing desert stones. Your mercy softened all my bones. The noise inside me slowly fades as heaven sings through open veins. Echoes of Eden falling like rain, healing the places hidden in pain. Your voice is a garden blooming in me, restoring the silence my soul used to need. Oh, peace like the dawn light, breaking my night. Echoes of Eden calling me back to life. Breathe deeply. Heaven is not rushing you. Grace moves slowly through wounded places. The Father still walks in gardens, and He still calls His children home. There's a holy vibration moving softly through the air, not of earth but born of heaven, lifting burdens into prayer. Every note becomes a lantern in the caverns of my mind, and every trembling thought inside me learns surrender over time. The weight upon my shoulders starts dissolving into grace. As sacred harmonies awaken, the tears upon my face, the anxious waves no longer roar. Your peace has reached my deepest shore. My heartbeat learns a better Every nerve and every memory, every wound beneath my skin. Let your holy calm surround me, let your restoration in. I surrender every burden, every fear I cannot name, till my soul becomes a garden filled with everlasting flame. Holy peace, holy light, lead us through eternal light. Holy grace, holy flame, call your children home again. Holy peace, holy light, holy peace, holy light, holy grace, holy flame, call your children home again. Echoes of Eden rise in my veins, breaking the sorrow, washing the stains. The heavens are singing, creation restored, every heartbeat awakening, closer to the Lord. The garden is open, the veil is undone. Echoes of Eden, and heaven has come. And heaven has come. Now the night feels lighter, now the fear feels small, and somewhere beyond the silence I can hear heaven call.
Have you ever noticed that the loudest battles are often completely invisible? There are people smiling in crowded rooms, while silently falling apart inside. And yet, somewhere between heartbreak and hope, a strange thing happens. The human soul begins searching for a signal, a frequency, a light hidden beyond the fog. Researchers say the brain instinctively responds to late harmonic resonance during emotional exhaustion, slowing internal panic and creating sensations of safety, memory, and release. But long before science discovered restorative sound, heaven already understood the language of peace. Tonight, this music is your lighthouse.
There was a boy beside the harbor, holding a light against the rain. Every ship had stopped believing they would find the shore again. People whispered storms are coming, nothing survives waves this high. But the boy kept lifting fire toward the dark and angry sky. An old sailor asked him softly, "Why keep standing in the cold?" He smiled and said, "Because somebody out there still needs somewhere safe to go." And suddenly my chest grew quiet, like heaven moved inside the breeze. Because hope is not a feeling, it's a light we choose to keep. When the world becomes an ocean and your strength carrying you through the waves. Be my lighthouse beyond the fog when I can't find my way home. Be the fire inside the dark when I feel completely alone.
Your love keeps calling across the violent sea, and every wave that tried to break me only brings me closer to peace. Some people survive storms physically, but never emotionally. The body continues breathing while the heart quietly drifts away. That is why heaven speaks through beauty, through melody, through stillness. Because exhausted souls often hear love more clearly in music than in words.
I saw a woman on a night train tracing circles on the glass, watching city lights keep fading like reflections from her past. In her hand she held a photograph folded from 1,000 tears, like she'd been carrying one moment for 100 lonely years. Then the sunrise touched the window, gold spilled softly through the gray, and for one brief second she looked peaceful, like the pain had slipped away. Maybe healing isn't instant, maybe grace arrives in parts, tiny rays of holy mercy finding cracks inside our hearts. Even ashes hold beginnings, even winter hides the spring, and the soul that learns surrender finds the strength to rise and sing. You are the lighthouse beyond the fog, the steady voice inside the storm, the calm that reaches shattered hearts and gently leads the weary home. Oh, even in the wreckage, your mercy remains, turning tears into rivers and sorrow into praise.
There is a garden hidden beneath every broken life, a place untouched by shame, untouched by failure, untouched by fear. And sometimes suffering is not the end of the story. Sometimes suffering is simply the fog before the lighthouse appears. Do not abandon yourself in the storm. The light is closer than you think.
I still believe when the sky falls down. I still believe love will pull me out. I still believe there's a peace unseen flowing like rivers underneath everything. Even the scars become windows now. Even the night has a What if peace was never lost, only forgotten beneath the noise? Scientists say the human heart responds to harmony before the mind understands it. Some frequencies slow the breath. Others awaken memory buried deep inside emotion itself. But there is another sound, older than fear, older than sorrow. A sound some souls only hear when they are finally exhausted enough to become still. Tonight, close your eyes and listen carefully, because heaven may already be singing your name. I walk through streets of neon thunder, people running from themselves. Every smile looked cracked and borrowed, like broken prayers upon a shelf. The sky was full of glowing windows, but nobody looked at the stars. Everybody carried oceans hidden underneath their hearts. I heard a mother softly crying on a midnight subway train, while a little child beside her kept dancing in the rain. And suddenly the world felt sacred, even in its deepest scars, like heavenly small reminders inside ordinary hearts. Then a whisper moved like sunlight through the chaos in my chest, saying you do not have to carry every shadow by yourself. When heaven learned your name, when heaven learned your name, the stars began to sing. Mercy filled the silence like rivers in the spring. Every broken memory, every hidden pain started turning into gardens when heaven learned your name. You were never abandoned, never too far away. Love has been searching for you since before your first day. Some wounds cannot be healed by words, only presence. Some hearts do not need answers, only permission to rest. Maybe healing is not becoming someone new. Maybe healing is remembering who you were before fear taught you to hide. There are letters in the moonlight, written on the edge of sleep. Tiny promises from heaven for the ones too tired to speak. Every tear becomes an ocean, every prayer becomes a flame, and every lonely soul is known there. Every soul is called by name. I met an old man near the shoreline, watching dawn invade the sea. He smiled and said, the waves keep breaking, but they still return peacefully. And somehow in that simple moment, the fear inside me lost its throne, because broken things still matter, and no sorrow walks alone. Maybe grace is not a thunder, maybe it's a steady light, soft enough to heal your breathing, strong enough to survive the night when heaven learned your If you could see your soul the way heaven sees it, you would understand why grace refuses to leave you. Beneath anxiety, there is still wonder. Beneath heartbreak, there is still music. And beneath every ruined place inside you, a garden is quietly waiting to bloom again. I'm breathing again. Hope is returning. Light is awakening deep in my bones. I'm breathing again. Fear is unraveling. Love is rebuilding everything stolen. Even the ashes are singing now. Even the silence is holy now. Even my scars have a story now. Because you stayed when heaven learned your name. The universe stood still. Mountains bowed in wonder. Rivers felt your will. Every heartbeat carries a spark of holy flame, and eternity keeps singing the beauty of your name. You are seen, you are known, you are loved beyond the stars, and the God who paints the galaxy still holds your trembling heart. If this music touched something hidden inside you, do not ignore it. What if the places inside you that hurt the most are actually the places where light enters first? There's an ancient idea found across generations of human history that wounded hearts often become more compassionate, more awake, more capable of hearing beauty. Scientists now describe how emotional music activates memory, lowers defensive brain activity, and allows the nervous system to reconnect with feelings buried beneath stress and fear. But long before neuroscience explained it, creation already knew. Flowers grow from broken soil, rivers carve beauty through resistance, and some souls only discover heaven after walking through valleys. Tonight, this is not just a song, it is a journey through the valley, where flowers learn to sing again. Beside the roadside, planting roses in the dust. Cars kept racing past in silence, like nobody believed in love. His hands were marked by years of sorrow, but his eyes still carried spring. And every seed he placed in darkness looked like hope awakening. I asked him why he kept on planting where the ground refused to bloom. He smiled and said the earth remembers what survives beyond the ruin. Then the wind moved through the valley like a choir beneath the sky. And for a moment all my questions felt too small to hold my life. Maybe every shattered season isn't punishment or pain. Maybe heaven hides beginnings inside everything that breaks. In the valley where flowers learn to sing, I heard mercy moving through everything. Every scar became a river, people carry invisible winters for years, smiling politely, while internally waiting for something to finally bloom again. But healing rarely arrives as lightning. More often, it arrives like rain. Slow, patient, quiet enough to miss, if your heart has forgotten how to listen. There was a girl beneath the street lights, dancing slowly in the cold, headphones wrapped around her silence, like they were protecting her soul. The city glowed like restless fire, but she moved as if time slowed down, like music was rebuilding pieces the world had nearly torn apart. An old cassette played through the static, tiny choirs inside the night, and suddenly the empty sidewalks started feeling warm and alive, because maybe heaven leaves reminders, hidden in forgotten sounds, tiny echoes of eternity, waiting quietly to be found. Even broken branches blossom, even deserts welcome rain, and the soul that keeps believing will not ache forever the same. In the valley where flowers learn to sing, every sorrow became part of healing. Chains dissolved like mist beneath the sun, and tired hearts remembered they were loved. Oh, heaven was never far away, it was growing softly through the pain, and every lonely soul could hear the king in the valley, where flowers learn to sing. There are roots growing beneath your sadness that you cannot see yet, strength forming beneath exhaustion, beauty forming beneath grief, faith forming beneath uncertainty. The valley is not your ending. Sometimes valleys are where heaven teaches flowers how to reach toward the light. Do not fear slow healing. Even forests begin as invisible seeds. I will bloom again, even after winter, even after heartbreak, even after loss. I will breathe again. Hope is still alive here, love is still rebuilding. Everything I thought was gone, and every tear becomes a rain. Somehow it is a journey through the valley, where flowers learn to sing again. I met a man beside the roadside, planting roses in the dust, are actually the places where light enters first. There's an ancient idea found across generations of human history, that wounded hearts often become more compassionate, more awake, more capable of hearing beauty. Scientists now describe how emotional music activates memory, lowers defensive brain activity, and allows the nervous system to reconnect with feelings buried beneath stress and fear. But long before neuroscience explained it, creation already knew. Flowers grow from broken soil, rivers carve beauty through resistance, and some souls only discover heaven after walking through valleys tonight. This is not. There's something strange about train stations after midnight. People become honest there. No masks, no performances, just tired souls carrying invisible stories through flickering lights and long shadows. Psychologists say transitional spaces, stations, airports, empty roads, often awaken deep emotional reflection because the brain associates movement with transformation. Maybe that's why some people cry quietly while traveling. Maybe the soul knows it was never meant to stay trapped forever. Tonight, this music is for the ones still searching for home. And somewhere beyond the noise of this world, there's a train still running through the dark, carrying lost souls back toward the light. I saw a man on platform 7, holding flowers in the rain, like he'd been waiting years to say the words he never could explain. His suitcase looked a little broken, his coat was worn from winter storms, but in his eyes there lived a fire that somehow still survived the cold. A little girl nearby kept laughing, spinning circles near the tracks, while her mother stared through silence, like her heart was fading back. Then the station choir started singing from a radio somewhere above, and suddenly the whole night softened, like heaven still believed. It's strange how strangers sometimes understand us better than people we've known for years. Maybe because strangers have no expectations, no history, no version of you they need to protect, only honesty. And sometimes healing begins the moment someone finally says, "I know what pain feels like too." There was a woman with a blue scarf, reading letters stained with tears, like she carried tiny pieces of forgotten yesterdays for years. The train lights painted moving halos across the sadness in her face, and every tunnel we passed through felt like memory and grace. Then she smiled at me so softly and said the hardest thing to learn is that sometimes losing everything is how the soul begins to turn. Outside the window, snow kept falling, quiet silver through the night, and for the first time in forever, the darkness didn't feel alive. Even shattered wheels keep turning, What if heaven is closer than we imagine?
Not only beyond the stars,
Not only beyond the stars, but hidden inside mercy,
inside forgiveness,
inside the courage to begin again. Maybe paradise is not a destination. Maybe paradise begins the moment the soul finally stops running from love.
and maybe every difficult road has secretly been leading you home all along. I can see the morning breaking through the haze. I can hear redemption calling out my name. Every fear is fading, every chain undone. Somewhere past the mountains,
I can finally see the sun. Even my scars are becoming light now. Even the silence feels alive now. Even my soul has started singing now inside.